Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Disappointed Dragon. As you can see, my desk is covered in stuff because periodically, as always, I've been taking trips to dollar stores, thrift stores, and secondhand shops in search of treasures, and I have found, well, some things that could be considered treasures, but a lot of things that would be considered junk by most people. But they are at least interesting, so we shall look at them, starting with a large crop of semi-complete Transformers. I really like Transformers, made that clear before in a lot of my videos, but I really like older ones. It's a little bit unfortunate. None of these are older ones, except for this one. This is the oldest one here, and I believe this one is still like mid-2000s. I'm pretty sure this is from Energon. Someone can correct me on that if they know. I didn't watch a lot of the cartoons after G1, so I'm not really sure. I did check with a friend of mine who is a lot more knowledgeable about the toys, and he said this was Alpha Trion. It's definitely missing a bunch of pieces, but he can transform into his weird spaceship mode, very reminiscent of sort of a Star Wars X-Wing type thing, which is pretty cool. And the transformation is, of course, really simple on this guy. So we'll do that right now. Aha. Come on. Oh, did you already? Yeah, you already did. There he is. All transformed. Very robot-y, very cool. Still, these ones are the ones that always kind of felt really toy-like to me. The plastic and everything is very sturdy feeling. Some of the older G1 ones, I feel so brittle and stuff, especially after all this time. This guy, I feel like he could put up with a lot of play and still hold together, which is pretty cool. First one out of the way. Next, Transformers. Look at these two quickly together. These guys are from the Bay series, the Bayverse movies. We've got, I want to say, Hound and Ironhide. I'm not 100% sure on this one. He's from the Age of Extinction movie. He had like the beard and stuff. This is definitely Ironhide. One thing I did like about the Bayverse designs, I'm not usually a big fan of them, is that their vehicle modes on the toys always look really good. Like this is clearly a pickup truck, some kind of army vehicle. Really cool. I'm pretty sure they're both missing a bunch of parts, but they have enough of their pieces that you can transform them. I'm not super confident in their transformations. I just kind of winged it with both of them until I figured out something that sort of looked correct. Again. Okay, here we are. Both of them are transformed. For the sake of all of you out there with short attention spans like myself, I have sped up the entire transformation process of me trying to remember how to transform these because I do not have instructions for either of them. I found them like this in the bags. Bayverse Transformers, they're kind of cool, but robot modes leave a lot to be desired. This one's a little bit nicer. It's a much more solid robot mode. The legs are really confusing. I have a pretty good idea I did them completely wrong, but I'm not going to look up the instructions because I'm just going to keep them in vehicle mode because they look way better in vehicle mode. Ironhide, I have no idea. The Bayverse designs for the robot modes are always so out there, just like completely insane. But as always, I do love finding Transformers, and it is really fun when you find a loose Transformer to try to figure out how to transform them going backwards. So, you know, pretty cool. And anytime I find a Transformer at the thrift store that is at least mostly complete, I try to pick them up because I just love Transformers. And then last but not least for the Transformers, we have this here Bumblebee. Very interesting Bumblebee. Unfortunately, he is a little bit broken. He's missing part of his windshield. I didn't notice that when he was in the thrift store because he was in a bag completely transformed into robot mode. But that's okay. What's funny is there actually was 2 of them. The other one was missing far more parts, and there was an Optimus from what was clearly the same series. But he had no head. And it's always sad when Optimus has no head. I like to pick up Transformers when they're at least complete enough to transform, and sadly, without a head, he was not. This one is clearly made for younger people. It's a much easier transformation than usual, and as you can see, you just flip it over, and there is Bumblebee in his whole robot mode glory. And it's very, very light plastic. At the same time, it's a pretty cool thing. It's really easy to transform, and it has a somewhat interesting transformation. It's mostly just covered up by this huge series of panels in the back on the legs that sort of do the entirety of the robot mode. And then, how did he have his legs? I think it was actually just like that, yeah. Just sort of folded up into the back of his legs. Yep, and that pegs in there. So it's not a super complicated transformation. As you can see, we're already pretty much done. He's a little bit off screen. We'll adjust the camera in a minute, but really not much to be said for this transformation. But, adjust that a bit. There we go. But it doesn't mean that it's not a cool robot mode. It's not a terrible transformation when it's in vehicle mode and its wheels are on the ground. It looks like a car. And when it transforms, it looks like a Bumblebee. That's all you need. He clearly had some kind of Energon weapon at some time, but as you can see, only the handle is left in there, so it broke off. No idea what he was supposed to come with. I think this is from Earthspark. Don't know. I haven't watched many of the after Transformer series, as I said, with Energon. Another thing that's cool about this guy, he has electronics. He lights up. He says things. Sometimes. Hey, Bumblebee, say something for me again. Come on. Oh! I was going to get to the fact that he had a powered-up transformation that I didn't know how to activate. There you go. It scared me. Yeah, he gets this weird kind of, like, armor and this, like, new head. But I don't know how he transforms or how to activate anything. He's clearly missing something here. There's, like, a peg up here that has nothing attached to it, and I don't know what it's for. But he does say things. And he does transform. And I think that's pretty cool. And he is vocal. Yeah, come on. Nope, there we go. Now how do I... there we go. Nice, transformed again. I don't know what I did to make him there we go. Okay. Alright, so there was probably a button of sorts up here that you would push down and it would flick this. So you didn't have to do it with your finger and get in the way. Autobots? Yes. Autobots. Quiet. But yeah, no, he's pretty cool. Not as cool as that big Bayverse Bumblebee we found before, but still pretty neat. I like stuff like this. It's definitely a cool toy. And it seems relatively sturdy, although the plastic is a bit thinner. And it definitely doesn't feel as nice as the Energon one down below, but he's still pretty cool. That's it for Transformers. Moving away from Transformers into the world of miniatures, we have Here, the USS Enterprise, which I paid $4.99 Canadian for, which I think was a terrible, terrible deal, but I did have my reasons. So this is a miniature playset similar to Polly Pockets back in the day of the Enterprise, which probably came with little people at some point to put inside. It does not have any now, which is sad, and it's also missing its engines. Don't know what they're called, didn't watch enough Star Trek. But what I really got it for was what's back here in this little hidden hatch, which is a tiny little space shuttle. I love miniature vehicles, and this tiny little space shuttle is the coolest thing ever. I picked it up just for that. Was that worth $5? No. But I like it. It's very cool. And I really like miniature vehicles. As evidenced by this. $6.99 for this one. Some of these things are getting real expensive, but this is a bunch of Micro Machine tracks for tiny vehicles. Also picked up from the same thrift store. And the main reason I got it wasn't for the tracks, but for all the vehicles that came inside. There's a bunch of tiny little vehicles, like this here container truck that has a dumping back, and it looks like an opening door on the back. Look at that. It's really cool. Now, these are not actually Micro Machines. They're from a different company entirely. But they are in scale with Micro Machines. And they will, of course, work with any of my Micro Machine playsets, which is cool. This one is a Micro Machine. I'm pretty sure I have this one already. I'm pretty sure this one's a Micro Machine. Maybe it's not. Not sure. If it's not, it looks very similar to one that I got recently. An ambulance. And a, what is this, a 5-ton? Oh, it's so heavy. And then just a bunch of tracks that all sort of peg together. And you can make infinite amounts of tracks, like this donut here, that your vehicles can drive on. If I chose one that was sized appropriately. Driving in circles and roundabouts is fun. Driving in circles and roundabouts is not fun. Not at all. But yeah, no, it's a pretty cool thing. It even has the partial instructions, which I have not yet looked at, but it looks like it makes some kind of racetrack at some point, and then you had more add-ons. This was so it's from a line called Driven. I guess it made like a little city setup. Very interesting. I just like the fact that I have all of these bits now, because what this basically means is when I do want to set up a big diorama of Micro Machine parts, I can. But you know what I should have done before dumping this entire bag onto the table was have somewhere to put it. Which I didn't, but now do. So we're just going to shovel that in. We'll be right back after that's gone. We'll speed this up so you guys don't have to hear the horrible sound of plastic hitting plastic. Okay, plastic's all cleared off. Sounds are gone. Actually, we're going to move this guy out of the way too. You can go in the bag with the other. Oh, that was loud. Dropping plastic on plastic. Never a great idea. All right, next up. Not from the thrift store, but from the dollar store. We have these little fellows. Transformers. Little plastic figures of Transformers. We have a Soundwave and a Bumblebee. I only got these for the stickers. They come with really cool shiny stickers. That was all I cared about. They did not have the Megatron. I think they might have had the Optimus. I'm not sure. No, they definitely didn't, because I would have grabbed that sticker. But these were at the dollar store. Only got them for the stickers. I like stickers a lot. I'm debating whether or not I want to open them. I think I'm just going to wait until I have somewhere to put the stickers. At the moment, I do not. So I don't see the point in opening it. The actual figures themselves are not great. They're not as bad as the ones that we opened way back, but they're still pretty bad. Next, we have another McDonald's Happy Meal toy that I paid 25 cents for. This is, if I can get the sticker off. I'm I probably can't. Ha! Got it. This is from the Busy World of Richard Scarry. This is Mr. Fumble and Fire Station, Toy Vehicle and Building. This was a kid's thing from way back when. It doesn't have a copyright on it that I can see. 1995. Yeah, in the 90s, so back when I was a kid. I doubt anyone recognizes it now, but I do remember this. I'm going to open it up, ruin any resale value it had. Not that it had any, but this was from a kid's series. The apple with the worm in it was the visual that reminded me of it from back then. I would have loved that. To have that one specifically. This one's pretty cool. This is also back when like Happy Meal toys were so cool. Because like, look at this. You get a little vehicle, the fairly well painted little pig man in there, and then you get a fire station. With a little slide in the scene that you can change around for your setting. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Nowadays, all you get is like those Mario Kart ones that I had for Christmas, which are fine, I guess, but these are nicer. Back when McDonald's toys were cool. Next, something a little bit nerdy that I really like. This is a old-time radio collection. The Smithsonian Collection, Old Time Radio, All-Time Favorites, 12 complete radio shows. As I've said many times in the past, I love audio dramas. I love radio shows. They're fantastic. They're one of my favorite things in the world. And this has a bunch of the really old ones on it. I paid $10 for it, which is a lot. Probably a little bit too much, but that's okay. I have actually heard some of these shows before. We've got the Lone Ranger, Suspense. I listened to a lot of Suspense. Dimension X and The Whistler are another ones I've listened to. They're all kind of like sort of scary crime stories and stuff like that. They're pretty cool. They all have that like stereotypical radio announcer voice that you used to hear all the time. A rare in-depth look at the history of old-time radio. George Burns. A little bit of a description of all of these different things. We've got Mel Blanc. The voice of many of the Warner Brothers characters. George Burns. Frank Sinatra. Look at that. He's looking young. These are all before my time as well. Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy. Humphrey Bogart. Yeesh. Younger people probably have no idea who these people are. These are way before my time as well, actually, but definitely stuff that I've heard. I love to listen to these types of things. 1943. Yeah, 1941, 1953. What's the newest one in here? I think 53. Yep, 53 is the newest of the radio shows inside of here, and that's the Jack and Benny program, one I have not heard. Very interesting. Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I like that kind of thing. I feel like there's probably not a lot of stuff on here. It's only 5 hours of rare radio entertainment. Actually, a lot of these are sort of, I don't know if they're public domain, but they're easily accessible on Audible. Like Suspense, I've heard on Audible a lot. Not Audible, Spotify. Suspense and The Whistler, a lot of them are available in like a lot of the shows, more than just, one or two of them like is on here, but still at the same time. Very cool. And now, the last thing. For the grand, ridiculous price of $2, I got this tabletop My Arcade Contra game, which I didn't think works, but does once I actually figured out that this was a button and not just a panel for decoration. Start. Yes. I know. Push the coin button. Now I have a half-size arcade machine by, I can't remember what they're called, 1-Up Arcades or whatever. whereas this one is not quite as good. It's not an exact duplicate of an arcade machine because the buttons are different. They're not like actual arcade buttons. This is not a micro switch D-pad. It's actually, when you look at it, you can see it's a D-pad with just a joypad, with just a joystick attached to it for the feel of it. But it is not a arcade stick, which is much better for these kinds of things. That being said, it's a great little Contra game. Super fun. It's much smaller than the one I have, which is a quarter size. So 1/4 the size of a proper arcade cabinet. I don't know what this would be, like maybe 1/10 or 1/16. I'm not 100% sure. I know that you can get these kinds of things at Walmart and stuff all the time, and they're not usually super expensive, but for $2 I couldn't say no. This is a bit nicer because I could put this on my desk and just, have it as a desk toy. It's a nice little decoration, if nothing else. It's pretty cool. And for $2, I mean, you can't go wrong. It does take batteries, which is a bit of a pain, for AA's, or it does have a 5-volt in, but it's a, what is that, USB micro? I don't know if I actually have any of those anymore, so, But that's it. That's all the cool stuff that I have for the last little while. Next time I get a huge pile of stuff, I'll show them off. We pick up stuff all the time. I do have one other really cool thing that I found, but it's currently not fully functional. So if I can get that working, I'll show you. But until next time, guys, stay happy, stay healthy, and, take a look at some thrift stores. You find some really cool treasures. All right, bye.